For September, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the books I've recently hauled because the stack is quite large this month, and then I'm going to hop into what I read during September. So the first thing I hauled was The Pairing by Casey McQuiston. I didn't realize that this was going to come out in such a gorgeous paperback from the get-go, and so I absolutely had to scoop it up. And I really like hauling it, reading it, and making my first reading vlog ever with it this month. So this one kind of does fit into all of the categories, but it is the first book I brought home recently. Next up, I've got 2 books that I was gifted by a friend who said that she likes reading weird things and she thought that I would enjoy these weird books. So first off, we have My Year of Rest and Relaxation, and then to follow that, we've got Tender is the Flesh. I have heard much about this. I have not heard much about this, but if this is like this, from what I know this is, then yeah, these are both gonna be really weird books. I'm excited about it. And can we talk about how cute the pink of this cover is? This is such a good cover design. I'm obsessed with it. And then this one is scary. Next up, I was gifted a Rainbow Crate box from one of my friends, which is a really cool company. I did not know this existed, but it is, you guessed it, a monthly subscription box that promotes LGBTQIA plus books. So in the box that I was gifted had Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle, and then Stars Collide by Rachel Lacey. Both of these have unique covers for the box, and they've got this really cool thing on the inside flap of the jacket where it is nutrition facts about the book. And so instead of like nutrition, it is pages 319, representation 50% pansexual, 50% lesbian, toaster oven 50, like I don't know what all of these things mean, but they are so enticing. And then side by side, like the art on these covers really does stand out and pop. I don't know what these books are about. I know they're queer, and so I want to go in blind, but I do feel like I've heard people talking about this one, and then this one sounds right up my alley based on the title alone. The next book I hauled is The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. This one has some crazy dark black edges. This really reminds me of like physically holding the Six of Crows book, but as I say in just about every other video that I make, I'm a huge fan of Six of Crows, and something that makes it so perfect and top-notch is that it is just a duology, even though it is such a dense, like, fantasy read. That's what I'm hoping for here. I hope my hopes aren't too high. Lastly, for books, I was given Uncultured, and this was gifted to me by a person who I gifted Educated to, and so I know nothing about this. I'm gonna choose to go in blind. I think it does say somewhere on here, yeah, it's a memoir, so it's a true story. The author blurb on the back of this: Young is an author, speaker, and scholar of cults, extreme groups, and extremely bad leaders. She became one of the first women in the U.S. Army history to conduct deliberate ground combat operations when she volunteered to serve on a female engagement team, and is the recipient of the President's Volunteer Service Award. Daniela holds a master's degree in industrial and organizational psychology from the Harvard Extension School and lives with her husband and daughter in Maryland. So this could be crazy. I caught myself slacking on my She-Hulk collection, and so I went and picked up volumes 4 and 5 in Rainbow Rowell's run. I am devastated that they're not bringing Rainbow Rowell back to continue writing this, but I am really excited to get to read not 1 but 2, just go through a huge chunk of She-Hulk sometime in the near future. And like, this is a great cover with the other heroes on it. Sticking with my superheroes, I found the next 3 volumes in the Spider-Man Worldwide series that I've been slowly reading my way through. I'm honestly at a point where I think I just want to start over, but I've got volumes 3, 4, and 5 here, so it shouldn't be too much drama to start with a reread of 1 and 2 and then jump into this. But I usually have a hard time finding these. I don't know why. I've done a lot of YouTube search recently, and I seem to be the only person who likes this series, but I have a really fun time with it, with this adult version of Peter and all of the technology. So if you know anything about this, I'm actually begging you to please let me know. Now, to start off what I read for the month of September, I began with Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister, and this was a book that I just picked up at Costco because I recognized the cover. It had a Reese's Book Club stamp on it, and then it was probably only like $10, and I can't leave Costco without a book. This was a really fun read, But I will say, you read the back of it and you kind of think it's going to be a Groundhog Day situation of a mother going back in time, like reliving a day to try and stop a crime that her son is involved in. But about halfway through this book, I started to get really, really upset that we were never going to guess the thing or the person or like the plot twist of this mystery. And once I realized that it's not really trying to figure out like who done it, it's trying to understand that you're just learning about the story backwards. Once I hit that, it was so smooth sailing and I really, really enjoyed the rest of this read. So I would recommend this to you if you're looking for a change in pace in terms of timeline. I absolutely flew through it and I would recommend it to, honestly, just about anyone who's looking for like a palate cleanse read, maybe between other books. Sometimes I'm in a mood where like I just want something that I know is going to be so uniquely individual, and I would say this is exactly that. You can hear all of my thoughts about it, every single thought I had while reading this book if you go back and watch my reading vlog. But what I will say is, because I did a reading vlog with this one, I was reading it in sync with Wrong Place, Wrong Time. And let me tell you, that is not for me. I really, really, really enjoy just reading one book and looking forward to that one book, because if I'm reading two books and I'm liking one a lot better than the other one, then I feel like it doesn't give that second book as good of a chance as if I'd put my whole focus on it. But then in the instance of these two, I liked them both a lot and they were really fun, but they both have so much stuff going on. And they're so fast paced that I just, because I had started this one at a later time, it completely took the back seat and I really took my time with it. Upon finishing it, I did go and look up what other people were saying on the internet about it, and it's not getting very good reviews, and I'm kind of shocked because I think this is exactly what you would be looking for if you just felt like you didn't quite get enough out of One Last Stop, or if you feel like we deserve more content in Red, White, and Royal Blue. If you read this and it didn't stick with you or didn't click with you, I would love to know why. I just finished reading Jackie, which is her autobiography in books, but what it really, really, really is just William Kuhn's opinions on Jackie based on things she has published. I would say I learned a ton. I didn't really even know she had such an extensive career in publishing. I will say this gives you a good understanding of how Jackie may have been as a person completely outside of her famous relationship that we all know her from. But like I said earlier, it is just this guy's opinions. It very much reads like, she published a book on Egypt, therefore she must really love the Egyptians. And so it feels really, really essay-like, and in the end, everything that I feel like I gleaned from it could just be one dude's observation. This was not a home run, but I will say there are like undeniably truthful things sprinkled throughout this, and I had no clue about a lot of the details from her life before and after the Kennedys. I'm not mad that I read this, but I will say it was a very slow read for me. I'm finishing the month up with the next few volumes in the True series by John Layman and Rob Guillory. This has been such a fun read. I found, actually, at the same time in the library sale, all of these, and I think it's really neat that they have the library stickers and whatnot on them. But man, I had to give them a scrubbing, and I've got to do some surgery on some pages. As I'm reading them, I'm kind of nervous that like pages might be missing, because I wouldn't know. The way this is so sporadic and the art is so different and vibrant, every time you turn a page it completely catches your eye, that I do feel like if a page or two was missing, you very well might not notice. So that's always in the back of my head while I'm working through this series, specifically because all of mine came from the library. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm kind of nearing the end of my read through of Chew.